I may be, taking a stand that a lot of sex therapists wouldn't agree with, but I do not like Sensate Focus for some very particular reasons. And this is why I've developed my own exercises to deal with touch with couples that are experiencing stress and avoidance that I like way better. So, what's my problem with Sensate Focus? Now, first, I should just say I learned about this in my training as a sex therapist. And then I had a whole other training about it as part of CEUs. And I've interviewed somebody on my podcast about it. And I know a lot of people find value in it. I'm going to talk about what I remember of how I was taught. So maybe I don't have this perfect. That's okay. It's going to give me the platform, the reason to talk about the problems I've got with the way I understood it. So, Sensate Focus was taught to me in a way that, first of all, is sequential. You start out at sort of a level one where you are touching each other in totally non sexual ways with clothes on. And then you move to another level where maybe clothes come off, and then another level where there's some sexual touch, and then another level where it might go to something like intercourse. So it's graduated like that. There are these levels that you move through. But one of the ways it was taught to me too is that your partner is doing things to you in each of these levels. You're doing it to each other, right? You're doing things to somebody, and they're just supposed to notice how it feels. And my memory is they're only supposed to speak up if something's really a problem, but they're just supposed to sort of be with whatever the touch is. And I remember very specifically, it's not supposed to be about pleasure. It's just supposed to be about noticing. Well, to me, all three of those things are a problem, a real problem. When I'm working with couples, whether it's in my course or in my sex therapy practice, who are finding sex stressful, loaded, anxiety provoking, somebody struggling with desire, their desire discrepancy is creating a real gridlock. This is going to make things worse. I really believe this. First of all, let's start with the first part of it being graduated. It is sequential working towards sex. To me, anything that is that goal oriented, like the whole point of what we're doing is to get to sex and specifically intercourse for hetero couples, is going to add to the pressure, to add to the idea that this is pass or fail. Like we need to get there. This is all a way of getting there. This is, yeah, it's increasing the pressure, and it's ill-informed. It's not the right goal. The goal in my mind of sex is always pleasure and connection for both people. So this goal-oriented sequential approach, as if, okay, we're on level one, now we're going to go to level two. It's like a staircase model as opposed to a circular model where everything is equally valuable. Not that you don't have favorites, you might have favorites and things you like more, but everything is valuable. It's not just a means to an end. Also, a problem to just do things to somebody and have them just notice how it feels. This, yeah, fundamentally, well, first of all, for anyone who's had any sort of trauma or doing things out of obligation, this reinforces that. I'm supposed to just sit here and take it, whether I like it or not. I'm supposed to just like let this happen to me and notice and work with whatever comes up. This is far removed from connecting to desire and, like, do I want this? So, this is why in my giver receiver exercise, the receiver of the touch is totally in charge. Nothing should happen to you that you don't want. We're looking for experiences that build on pleasure and connection, that tap into your desire, that you can actually relax and want instead of enduring or tolerating touch and maybe having the guardedness up around not knowing what's going to happen to you. Major problem. The other thing I think is just totally off base is not having pleasure be the focus. Now, my understanding of what Sensate Focus is doing is trying to take off the objective, the expectation that you're supposed to get sexually aroused or something. I agree with that. But I do think this whole thing should be hinging on what is actually pleasurable, sexually pleasurable or not. It could be non-sexual, but like I want people to be connecting to what could feel good to me. That's the whole point of this, is pleasure and connection. And taking pleasure out of that experience, it's mind-boggling to me, frankly. So it should be rooted in what feels good. What would be pleasing to me, and how can I tell you about that and invite that and relax into that and let myself enjoy that and even discover what that could be? It's going to be crucial for somebody connecting to their own desire and for a couple finding a way to share pleasure and connection together in whatever way, and they can make their sex life meaningful together. I think off the top of my head, those are the three main complaints I have about Sensate Focus. So if you have been advised to do this, and certainly if you have tried it and felt discouraged, or it was unpleasant, or it was disappointing, or one of you really struggled with it and it was triggering, whatever, bad reaction to it, either the idea of it or doing it, it's not the only option. And in fact, I basically never suggest it to my clients. I always use my giver receiver exercise or some other things that I've created in the course, some other experiential stuff that's much more rooted in pleasure and in accessing what you actually really want and advocating for yourself and not doing anything out of a sense of obligation.